Final blanket is about 33 inches by 33 inches, perfect size for somebody who is mobility impaired and in a wheelchair. There's a lot of texture in these stitches, which I'll be going over what the stitches are, and some of them are stitched into the back loop, which adds another row of dimension to it. I do not have a yardage requirements or what you need as far as yarns go, because all of these except for this brown were gifted in a stash to make comfort and prayer shawls from this group of yarns and creating something that worked. This is a great pattern for our ends that you have or mismatched skeins that you have left over from projects. So here we go. I did write down what each round was, so I will have these in the description below. Okay, this light green was a worsted heavier weight of a chunky yarn, and I started with a magic circle with 12 stitches in it. Second round looks like it was an increase of 2 into each double crochet from before, and I put for the corners I put 2 chain stitches in each corner, and you can see how the corners continued to increase as they went. I did an invisible join. There's plenty of YouTube videos on those. A tweed, which is a super chunky, it's a 2-ply, and it wasn't that hard. Again, though, I was using, I believe, a size 6 hook. I will include that in the description below. And so this is quite simply, you've got a double crochet. Again, I was doing an increase, so I have double crochets in each plus on the corner. So this is why this center part continues to look a little bit round, because I was trying to get some size to it. We have another invisible join to the green tweed that matches the gray, and 4 or 5 balls of each color without any labels on it at all. Kind of feels like it has a wool blend component in it. If you know what this yarn is, go ahead and include it in the comments below, because I'd love to know what it is. It was a very cool yarn to have included in this project. So this is 2 rounds of the green tweed. Here's our joining seam, and you can kind of see it as we progress through. You'll see it. But this was, we did double crochet. Here we've gone down to 1 per, and then in the first round I did a double stitch in the corner, chain stitch double. In the second round I did the 5 stitches into 1 for the corner to give it a more solid look. And one of the things I did do to keep this pattern looking like piecework was alternate the styles on the corners. So some of the corners you can see the little corner gap, other ones are fairly solid. Okay, we invisible join back into the gray tweed. Now this is a row of double crochet, standard double crochet. The second round is a front post, back post, front post, back post. I had never done this before, and it turned out to be a really fun, easy way. It wasn't as complicated as I had been thinking it was. Very good videos. I'll include the one that I found the most helpful in the description below. But it added a lot of fun texture throughout this project, and that was a really neat add that I hadn't anticipated. After these 2 rows, I added another round with the green tweedy. That's just a double crochet in each stitch. Then we went back to our original green worsted and did 2 rows of single crochet just to add some solid to the pattern and give it a good definition between some of the borders. Like we did with the gray tweed, we went back, and with this green tweed, again, it's a single row of double crochets. Then you go back to do the front post, back post, front post, back post. Okay? 2 rows of solid single crochet, and in those corners you can see where I did the 3 in a row. So here you can see the corners don't line up, and as with many projects, it doesn't terribly matter. went back in to do another row of double crochets. When I tied in this green, which looks like just a regular red heart, of course it's another one without any tag on it, I went through the back loop of the row before to do these double crochets, and that's what added this little line, this raised line, is because I was stitching into the back loop. So this is actually, so this round is 4 lines of double crochet. The first line was simple double crochet. Second row, you go with your front post, back post, front post. I did another round of straight plain double crochet, and then the 4th line is where you're getting this extra bit of definition, and I alternated it from the first row of the double crochet so that it created even more texture by having them alternate. So after doing these 4 rows of double crochet, I went back with the gray and I did a double crochet row. This brown, which is a lighter weight yarn than the other ones we're working with, what I did was I did double half crochets into the back loop. And so this round is 2 rows of double crochets, and that helped add some bulk in the stitch to help it maintain the chunkiness of the other yarns. Single crochet row of your apple green from the center to draw that again, so we kind of have that being one of the most consistent elements. I had wanted to do another double row, did not have the yarn to do that, and then we went ahead and did a single crochet with the green tweed into the back loop. So again, here's another way that we added texture, and also by doing it into the back loop, you have a more solid join into the new color. So you'll see how this has your alternates in there, where this one has a thicker border. You don't have as much question about what the colors are. So since this ended up only being a single row, I made sure I stitch into the back loops. And then I did the same back here with the green tweed. Again, bringing things forward from the pattern out to the edge as much as possible. Only a single line because almost completely ran out of this yarn. So did make a dent in the stash with this. So we moved up to a row of brown, and this is a Lions brand, the homespun, and it had significant variations in the colors. So I did I think this is a good spot, even though homespun's really hard to see what you do. So what we did, or I'm sorry, what I did is I did a row of single crochet, then I did a round of double crochet and finished with a single crochet line. And this is all one skein. It did have its tag on it and it looked fairly complete. There was so much variation in just this color. I'll include which color this was. It wasn't the fiery orange one. It was supposed to be a brown, and then it came out really red in the middle of the skein for some reason. And then this dark brown. So to continue to keep it thicker like this round was, half double crochet border, and then I went back a second time into the exact same holes to layer the border to make it thicker. So that's a half double crochet border with a second round of half double crochets. So again, I'll include in the description the rounds, what the stitches were. There's lots of videos on YouTube so that you can figure out how to do these stitches. Again, the front post, back post turned out to be much simpler than I thought. I'll also make sure there's a video link for stitching into the back loop. If you don't know, if you have any idea what these different yarns are, I'd love to know in the description. They were all fairly easy to work for, and this was my Stash Buster that I finished in June. I guess July. Started it in June though.